following is a presentation of TFNN, Living a Primal Lifestyle. Now, your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Hi, folks. This is Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke right beside me here.
Good morning.
And we are Living a Primal Lifestyle. Welcome to the program. How's everybody doing? It's a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater, Florida. In fact, it's 59 degrees, kind of our winter.
That's right.
It's kind of nice. We had some rain, which we needed badly.
Kind of cut down on the pollen, because the pollen, we've had these warm days, and our cars are coated with the yellow pollen, so we get a little rain, we're happy.
I was cleaning my pool the other day, and it got kind of stuck because of all the pollen in there, but it's still nice here in Florida. I mean, we don't have the snow and all the hectic stuff that you used to have up north, so we are definitely living a high life here in Florida. We love it. I want to remind folks that my Health Signals newsletter is out, folks, and it's packed full of some things, and we're going to discuss a few of these just to kind of go over and let you know what's in them. So if you're interested, it's $5 for each issue. It's $10 a month. So and the first 30 days, no charge. There's one online that you can spot and check it out. But the first thing in here is how to reduce your consumption of phytic acid.
Yeah.
And, of course, phytic acid is in all our grains. It's in lots of nuts and seeds.
And I think that's really important for those people that are not aware, because we do talk about it a lot.
Yes.
But, you know, let's repeat. The phytic acid is a coating on a seed or a piece of grain.
It kind of keeps it in hibernation, right?
It keeps it in hibernation. That's saying to this seed, nut, or grain, don't germinate, don't open and turn into a plant. The time is not right. So as you can understand, if we do that if we eat these things with the phytic acid intact, then it's not going to digest and break down in our guts and cause all kinds of problems.
And it causes lots of different problems in our gut, in our intestinal system. In fact, it's very slow to digest grains and seeds.
And, you know, diverticulitis, you hear people say, I've got diverticulitis, I'm not supposed to eat nuts and seeds. Well, that's because they've eaten so many.
Yeah.
They created these little pockets.
Yeah.
But our ancestors knew better.
Yeah, it's strange how they seem to know these things. Of course, I'm giving a talk at our local health food store, Nature's Food Patch, and I'm going to be talking about this. And really the title of the lecture is, Do You Remember When Our Food Changed? And our food has changed over many, many years, but one of the first things, of course, is the advent of agriculture, which happened maybe 2,000, 5,000, maybe 10,000 years ago, depending on where you were on the globe. And the archaeologists say that there was a huge die-off of people. Maybe as much as a third of the population died out within those first 100 or so years because of the allergic reactions, just not getting the nutrients, the hard lifestyle, being a hunter and gatherer in itself.
And when you said the nutrients, I mean, it really comes back to why we really like to focus on the primal diet. Yeah. Because the nutrients that are in the primal diet are really those ones that are concentrated, you know, by the animal source that they come
from. And the
from.
animals.
The fat-soluble vitamins.
Yeah, and the animals are eating the greens. Remember, they're not eating the seeds. There's very few seed eaters on the planet. And so the consumption of reproductive parts of plants is really solely a human thing. Most mammals do not eat any kind of... In fact, the cows, when they eat... Remember that the seeds are there for a very short time, 2 weeks maybe.
And, you know, a lot of people, I'm going to get on the other side of the fence for a second.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people talk about, wow, think of the life force that's in a seed.
Yeah.
You know, think about it. It has the energy, like my Qigong teacher says, to grow a whole tree.
Yeah.
So what do you think if, you know, high-speed blending, you know, raspberries and avocado seeds and so forth, you know, there's some very interesting phytochemicals that are locked in the cellulose fiber of plants and seeds. So the question is, you know, my Qigong teacher says, you know, the great masters would spend an hour eating an apple and in seeds and the core. And I tell everybody, if you're going to eat the whole thing.
Sure.
And chew them up, though. Yeah. But it's that breaking up the seeds.
Well, the cows, when they eat seeds, will just swallow them whole.
Well, they've got the stomach. They've got a different digestive system than we do.
But the seeds do come out whole. In the cows.
Oh, even in the cows?
Oh, yeah. They come out whole.
That's true. And it's been a while since I looked at a cow patty. But
You mean you're not going through the neighborhood looking for cow patties? But the thing is that they are sprouted then. And that's what our ancestors kind of did, like the old knowledge of taking the grain and washing it and getting it wet and allowing it to be there for maybe 24, 48 hours.
Using an acid medium kind of helps, you know.
Exactly.
Whey, the liquid whey is a great pre-fermenter or an acid like a little lemon water or a little vinegar water.
A little vinegar water, yeah. So there's a lot of things. And this article really goes through what you can do. Well, first of all, the content of the phytic acid in each type of grain, some of the nuts, what the breads and the beans and the tubers and things like that, and then how different cultures got over that. And what they used to get rid of that phytic acid so they could use this. Because remember, the reason we started going into the agriculture is because the food got scarcer and scarcer. More human beings. The wildlife maybe wasn't as pronounced in certain areas. Climate changing, the ice ages, you know, and you don't have as many animals around. So now you start looking for other things. And human beings are very inventive, and that's why we started eating grains. Only recently did we scientifically find out, and this really, I mean, we talk about recently, we're talking about the last decade, is when people started saying, hey, there's phytic acid in this, you know, and our ancestors used to soak this stuff, and everybody knows that soaking beans is good. Why? Because all that bubbling is the phytic acid.
Coming off.
Coming off, and that's the same with the grains. In fact, the best grain you can eat, folks, is a sourdough.
Exactly, sourdough bread. Now,
and that's rye bread, which has a lower phytic acid, and it actually, the phytic acid is easier to get out of rye than it is out of some of the other grains.
While you were talking, I was just visualizing. You've seen this chart where they show the Paleolithic man walking, and then another variation of the genus species is walking, and then modern man, and all of a sudden modern man's turned around, he's kind of got a belly.
Yeah.
He says, stop, turn around.
We screwed it all up. We screwed it all up.
But that's kind of, you know, the evidence is that we shrunk when we started eating the grains.
Yeah.
You know, that we lost a lot of our stature and so forth. So there's evolution happening. Imagine what's going to happen, you know, years from now when the genetically modified man, you know, what the genetically modified man is going to look like as opposed to...
Yeah, and there's a lot of evidence around to say that we're just recently catching up and living longer like we did back 10,000, 30,000 years ago. So that's pretty amazing. It amazed me because we are always told that, hey, we're living a lot longer. But the other question, of course, is, and then you bring this up a lot, is that are we living better and healthier?
Yeah.
In those last 30 years or 10 years.
The statistics kind of say that we're living longer, but we're not living better. And I'm gonna say this. You know, we keep hearing the stories about, oh, come on, Paige, you know, medicine has helped us live better. But we're only comparing it to the history that we've been presented.
Yeah.
What if the history is not accurate?
Well, that's true, too.
You know, I go back to the lost city of Atlantis, and, you know, we were very advanced from what it appears in those days. We don't really, but I imagine people lived a very long time.
I think probably there's other generations. I think some lost civilizations were probably much more advanced. With the satellite imagery, with the ground penetrating radar. This is helping archaeologists finding different sites all around the world that now really time loop everything, saying, hey, we were here maybe 30,000 years ago, very advanced.
And that's what I'm saying. We always compare like, oh, well, we're so advanced compared to what we were in, you know, the Dark Ages or whatever. But that's just a little snippet of history. Yeah. They're making you think that's when it all started. But what if that was actually the fall? What if we were way up here and we went down here and now, you know, we're kind of coming back up? Yeah. And that is kind of what we're learning in astrotheology is the exact case.
Sure.
Where we were at the feet, Pisces. Yeah. We're working our way back up.
Well, another way I look at it, too, is in freedom terms. More and more it seems like our freedoms have been taken away. The children of today aren't as free as we were when I was growing up in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Man, we were free. We were running around the neighborhood, staying up till dark.
Screen door slapping.
Yeah,
barefoot.
The doors were open, no locks on the doors. I mean, we were happy, and we had no worries of any kind. Not like the worries today where you have to watch if you're waiting for a bus being, you know, you could be snatched up by some idiot or something. I mean, things have really changed. And it's not just governments, it's also corporations, it's also our fanatical religions. Not that all religion is bad, because the spiritual part of human beings is one of the greatest aspects of our lives. But the organization of these things, any kind of large organization, seems to have more of a downside than it is In fact, there's a religious group that says the optimum amount of people in a group is about 140, and once it gets too big, bigger than that, you have to break up into another group. Huh. And that makes sense to me, because when you're living in larger and larger groups, somebody wants to be in control and somebody wants to really...
Well, that's kind of the tribe concept, maybe.
Yeah.
You break up into little tribes because there has to be a chief, and then someone challenges that chief.
And I know somebody that knows a lot about that, because Kay Rico's on the line from Costa Rica.
Oh.
And I think we should talk to Kay Rico now. How's it going?
Hey, hi, guys. It's going pretty good, pretty good.
What can I do for you today?
I just have to say that your subject matter makes me think about something I actually think about all the time, our own human evolutionary DNA. What makes us who we are?
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting thing. There's so many theories out there.
Well, for me, I look at everything around me, and I try to think about how I blend in, being an American and American culture, and living a definitely different lifestyle than them, not thinking I'm better than anybody here, because there's plenty of people who are far more in a more civilized lifestyle than I am, especially the work I do. But at the same time, I think about how these young people I view, how they're going to grow up being so poor, and families with too many children, they have no food to provide from the beginning of their life, and they end up stealing and lying and thieving and game playing and manipulating throughout their whole lives.
Yeah. Well, they have no choice in a sense, do they?
No, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the evil thing. That's the problem that creates more crime and more bad guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was talking to somebody this morning about Obama had said that he wants education to start very early, and now he wants a preschool program where the kids get into some kind of school at 3 years old. And for me, I think homeschooling is probably the best, and we need to keep our children close to us. And we need to...
Close to the family tribe. I mean, you could look at it this way. They're saying education at 3, or is it indoctrination at 3?
And that's always the two-edged sword with any kind of large institution. Give me the money to educate myself, I say, and let me choose my own path.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if a president of the United States is really going to be the president of the United States, he's going to have to be so much harder in the future and tougher in the reality that I don't know how to put this, but I lived in Mexico 40 years ago. I know the mentality of the Mexican thinking.
Yeah.
I see that they're not doing anything about the borders. And our medical system is collapsing because too many people are using it on a free walk-in basis without even being Americans.
Yeah.
As president or whoever has got to be so tough on the reality that the system is broken. It's about time somebody fixes it. But I'm getting off the DNA.
Well, let's come back to the DNA right after the break, folks, and stick around. The number here is 877-927-6648, and we'll be right back.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. It's Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. On the phone, we have Kay Rico from Costa Rica, and we're talking about human DNA, which is a really good subject. So what's your point on this?
I guess my point is that each individual in his own way can, we have those trees of family trees or whatever they call them, genealogy. I'm not sure the word right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever wonder about what made you what you are from your own family genealogy and your own making of your DNA as you were just born and such?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the greatest mystery of life.
Yeah. I mean, and you can look at the first line of strength would be your mom and father.
Right.
Then your grandparents, and then it's fair to say if you could find out about your great-grandparents.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking about that. We were just talking about that before we went on the air because my uncle had gone back and checked his mother, so that's my grandmother, and then gone back all the way back to the 1120s, and we all were in North Holland. I mean, none of our families actually moved more than 100 miles. But some interesting things. The first windmill in Holland was built by one of my ancestors. The first building in Holland was one of my ancestors. So, there's some great lines in there. And you were talking about your relationships.
Well, I haven't really explored the accuracy of Ancestry.com, but I did one of those trials, and I put in one side of my family. It was very frustrating because nothing showed up. But on Ancestry.com, you'll put things in. And I only went back to my great-grandparents. And on this one particular, on my mother's father's side, it all of a sudden showed up this Ancestry.com leaf. We've got lots of information about your tree. And all of a sudden it fills in and it says, click here to see who you're related to. And I was related to all kinds of people, presidents I like, presidents I don't like, Grace Kelly.
But I think it goes deeper than that, too. I mean, where did our original DNA even come from?
Right. I mean, are we some creature from the oceans that created a frog, that created a walking, a Neanderthal to human beings of today?
Yeah, how long has genetic testing really been happening, or genetic experiments? I mean, well,
we know that it goes by, our present DNA goes back to one black woman in mid Africa somewhere, in Central Africa. But even before that, I mean, how many generations before that? I mean, we could have some alien DNA in us. Who knows? We don't.
Is it angels or angles, again, from the zodiac? There's different angles that came.
Yeah.
The sons of God, going back to the Bible, and the Bible being a great explanation of astrotheology. Where did our DNA come from? I mean, the question is, do we really have two-stranded DNA? There's studies that say we have 12, 24, 36-strand DNA beings in our, that we do. We're just not activated. They say...
Go ahead.
I'll give you something real deep in my mind, because it's happening in the next hour. I believe that I know that I am, in the world that I live, it's survival of the deadliest.
Wow.
And the fact is, we, in another hour, are going to have an asteroid pass over 17,000 miles from the Earth, more or less.
I heard about that.
But this morning, we had another fact of an asteroid that landed on the Russian shore.
Yeah, it was a spectacular sight.
This was not even spoken about.
Right, it wasn't even, they didn't even know it was coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to get back to the survival of the fittest. I know in my case it's a little more severe, but what I'm getting at is, what if, now just take a what-if moment here. What if they never told us the truth about what's happening right now as we speak? This asteroid is lining up to come into the Earth's atmosphere and do some serious damage.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the human being's possible DNA of growing up, family genealogy is deep into our genetic makeup. If this thing crashes and we begin a new world event of survival of the fittest, starting in 1 hour if it crashes, how are each of us going to apply our DNA, our genetic makeup, to survive?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I get a little sometimes, but I see a lot of deep things in my life to make me get deep.
Well, we've already planned it at our dojo. Everybody's meeting there with their guns. It's a fascinating thing, and Paige and I have been talking about doing another hour of the Nico and Paige show and getting kind of down the rabbit hole and talking about some more of these types of things and what's happening in the United States and other countries and all these different type of topics that are so interesting.
We can all learn and explore together.
Yeah, appreciate your call.
Thanks.
And please call again, Rico. We always enjoy talking to you.
Okay, thank you. Nice talking.
Have a nice weekend. That's really interesting. Folks, the number here is 877-927-6648, and we'll be right back after the break.
Just recently, on December 28th, Market Insight subscribers were advised to go long the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, on December 28th at $63.91. And only 2 trading days later, after a huge jump in the market, Market Insight subscribers were advised to sell the QQQ at $66.64 for a $2.73 or 4.27% profit to start off 2013. At the same time, Tom O'Brien had advised his clients looking for a more leveraged trade that they could have initiated a position in the QLD, the ProShares Ultra QQQ ETF, and over the same 2 trading days, Market Insight subscribers were able to lock in a $4.48 profit or an 8.47% gain in just 1 trade. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during your free trial and pay nothing. Don't miss out on the next great trading opportunity in 2013. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the program, folks. This is Nico and Paige, and we're living a primal lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648. Stumbling across that number, 927-6648. Please, if you have any questions or comments, please email Nico at TFNN.com, Paige at TFNN.com, and we'll be glad to make comments, listen to your advice. And if you have any questions, of course, we'll answer those, and we can answer them on the air, too. One of the things that we talk about is drinking milk and, sodas and things like that. But a lot of people are under the impression that the non-dairy versions of our drinks are much better than...
Happens all the time. I have people coming in, oh, gosh, no, I don't drink dairy. I drink almond milk or I drink rice milk.
Yeah. Now, if you're allergic to dairy, of course, that's a whole different thing. But we find that the natural raw formula of cow's milk or other animals' milk is...
Goat's milk.
Is kind of a superfood.
I believe it's a superfood.
Yeah.
It's the animals are acting as nutritional concentrators for us with the healthy, fat-soluble
Especially if
vitamins.
they're eating their good grass. If
Yes.
the cows are eating grass, they're
That's
eating their
the
natural
key,
food. It is the key, of course. And it's the key with all the stuff that we talk about is the animals that we eat and the plants that are out there have to have a basis for health themselves. You're not going to go in the garden and you put crap on your garden and expect to have good tomatoes or good cucumbers or anything like that.
And most people know that I'm a real fan of dairy, raw dairy, raised with cows that are grazing and getting foraging for themselves.
Yeah.
It's hard to find, even in Florida, some that don't get a little grain while they are being milked. But
a little grain is not bad.
Yeah,
it's not their staple, just like it's not our staple.
Exactly.
And that's the key. You can have a little bit of bread here and there, and you can have these things, but when you use these things as a staple, as your primary food, that's when we get into problems. Now, in my Health Signals newsletter, I have the truth about non-dairy drinks, and a lot of people are substituting things, typically, these things have a lot of
they're a processed food.
They're a processed food, mostly.
And they got vegetable oil in them?
Yeah, and of course, vegetable oil is the oils we don't want. And they're really not vegetable oils. They're grain and bean oils.
Grain and bean.
Yeah, again, here we go.
Polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFAs, which slow your metabolism, create disease, inflammation.
And then you have the stomach problems, your intestinal problems, and it just goes on from there. And it doesn't make good cell walls and blah, blah, blah. So some of the things that are being sold, of course, as substitutes are the almond milk,
rice milk, hemp milk, soy milk. Stay away from soy milk.
Coconut milk, even. And all these things are processed in a certain way. Coconut milk, I use that. Try to get the healthiest form as possible. But in here, I have a solution to all your problems, folks, because this is homemade stuff. We've got some recipes in here to make your own homemade almond milk.
And so that's exactly what we mean. When I say don't buy cow's milk from the grocery store, it's been processed and pasteurized and heated and additives added. They're adding vitamin D2, not D3, which is the benefit. And then when you're making so we go back, making almond milk, making real coconut milk, you're getting it raw.
And of course, the almonds, you have to soak them to get the phytic acid out, because even almonds will have the phytic acid in there. Also, there's a great recipe on making your own coconut milk, and this is really good. You really need a good blender, like a type of Vitamix. But you can take just the meat of the coconut and with a cheesecloth and some great water, your filtered water, and make your own. And it's relatively easy to do. So, check that out. I found an interesting article, too, about a great alternative to cow's milk is camel and donkey milk-based nutrient, and they come in, I guess, a powdered form.
A cheaper alternative of human milk. Again, what it's coming back to is the analysis that animal milks, they're very nutritionally dense.
Yes.
But we've been, we hear this argument, we're the only humans. We're the only animals that drink another animal's milk. But
we
it's
can.
also healthy. But we can.
But we can, because the other animals just, get kicked away when they try to suckle on the nipple.
Yeah.
And we have found different ways of doing that through animal husbandry. And that happened very, at a similar time when agriculture started. Both of them kind of started on the same path.
There's a great book called The Raw Milk Cure.
Oh, really?
Actually, in serious disease situations, using raw milk almost. It's an interesting book, The Raw Milk Cure.
Yeah. But just, do away with the pasteurized version of milk.
Yeah.
And,
dairy or non-dairy. They're still, if they're processed, you look for, having these recipes are great.
We're also always looking for substitutes. When a person says, well, I can't eat bread, well, can I fix this kind of bread? Well, yeah, you can. And the same thing with milk substitutes. Yeah, you can, but why do it? Why not just find the great sources of the good stuff? Like heavy cream still is available just about everywhere, and that is pasteurized at a much, much lower temperature. And so you get a lot of good things. So when you're going to have a cup of coffee, you can pour some of that in there. Or if you're going to have your cherries or your blueberries or your strawberries, pour that cream over there.
Great way to get that sweet fix. Get your phytochemicals from your berries, but get your fat-soluble vitamins, your A and D, because that's what we're talking about. One of the studies in this article talks about how when they do all mortality studies, people that get their D3, which is the healthy form of vitamin D, it's the natural form of vitamin D, they have like 4 times greater, mortality, but yet those people that take D2, which is the synthetic that's often added to vitamin-fortified milk, vitamins A and D, they actually have a reduction in their mortality.
So this is an interesting article. I'm going to put that in one of my newsletters coming up. I found it interesting that the donkey milk is called ass milk.
Yeah.
Can we say that on the air? I guess we, in that
you did already.
I guess we can. But I thought that was humorous. But it's a great article, and it shows that they've had really success helping with lots of different diseases by feeding people this way. So pretty interesting. Some of the other things in here, I've got a great article about fluoride with some links for you to watch. If you're concerned about fluoride and you want to find out what the history is of it and how it came about.
Very interesting story.
Yeah, it is really good. In fact, there's two links. One is called Fluoride Gate, and the other one is Fluoride: The Bizarre History, full-length documentary about how fluoride actually got in our water and why. It's kind of like the busing thing. I'll just bring this up briefly. Is the most idiotic thing is getting not only our children out of the house as soon as possible, which I think is the wrong thing. We should keep them in, and homeschooling, I think, is a huge benefit to us as humans. But also busing our children out of our neighborhood to other schools. I'm sure it must have been a scam between maybe the oil companies and the people who were building the buses.
You kind of have to follow the money, maybe, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Create more buses, create more
in our
use.
society, we have to create these stupid little jobs and these stupid systems of creating useless kind of jobs for people. And we're even arguing now, should we raise the minimum wage to $9? I mean, who can live on $9, first of all? When I remember first hearing about the minimum wage is when I was a teenager, and I thought it was a great idea, minimum wage, because for kids just going out of school and having a part-time job, at least you could make some pretty good money.
Yeah.
Well, I remember my first job was like $1 a day working for the milkman. It's from 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon.
Delivering
for $1.
Fresh milk.
Delivering fresh milk, the homogenized milk, even.
Non-homogenized. So the cream was on top.
No, the cream was on top.
Yeah. So non-homogenized.
Non-homogenized. But and then when it got cold, that cream would just bubble out, and then you could take a chunk of it and eat that. Ooh, that was so good. But, so I think in our society we have a lot of things that quell our freedom. And these systems of busing our children is one of them. And there's so many more. We could talk endless about it, but I don't want to get too far off the subject. Folks, the number here is 877-927-6648. You can give us a call. And what else did you want to talk about today?
Oh, I think I kind of wanted to go over a couple more things that you had in your newsletter.
Okay.
Because I think, it's a great chance to get people, talking about it. As we were just talking about the dairy products being a great concentrator of nutrition, let's get back to why. What we're seeing when we start to look at primal living and then incorporating the dairy, because, I think, I kind of come from that Weston Price type background. Yeah. We're in desperate need of getting these fat-soluble nutrients. And, what we see so often in people that are pursuing a purely vegan or vegetarian life is they're missing these animal concentrator foods. And I think of the vitamins A, D, E, and K. And, milk and cream and eggs and meat are all excellent sources of this vitamin A. And we'll hear that argument so often that they can get enough vitamin A from eating, vegetables, the beta-carotene. Absolutely not true. That's not true. Yeah, it's a different animal.
Yeah, it is.
Beta-carotene and the conversion, most people can't make the conversion to the retinol. So, one of the things you've talked about was liver. Do you like liver?
I do. Okay. I like chicken livers. We fix those maybe once every 2 weeks.
And that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah.
I don't particularly love it. For some reason, maybe when I smelled it, because I really don't remember it being cooked for me very often.
You have to cook it right, and you also can, if you mix it with the right other foods.
Well, I have a source where they have New Zealand liver desiccated capsules.
Oh,
so
really?
I try and take that once a week, 2 ounces, because I'm small. Remember, that's, again, people think because we're talking about a paleo diet, we're eating, we're holding that big drumstick like Fred Flintstone,
Sometimes I like to, though.
but we don't have to eat that quantity.
But, one of the biggest problems I have when I talk to people when we're exercising and things and try to give them the concept of living a primal lifestyle is the fat. The fat is what's missing out of our diets. We've been told for the last 50 years that fat is no good. Everything is fat-free. And even people, I've switched. I've been eating more meat. I've been getting pretty good sources, but they're still missing adding more fat in and eating some good butter and eating some more coconut oil and putting it in different things to get that fine, because they say they're hungry. And if you're eating properly on a primal-type diet, paleo diet, you will not be hungry. And that's the beautiful part about it. So until you get that right composition of the fat, which I think has to be about 50% of your diet, then you're still going to be burning that sugar instead of burning fat.
And if you're getting these fats from saturated fats, they're going to be in sources of foods that have high amounts of these vitamins A, D, E, and K.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, they're tied to the fat molecules.
Don't you think it's kind of interesting that those studies came out that tried to scare us off from those I mean, think about beta-carotene and the lung cancer scare.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, if you have high amounts of beta-carotene.
Right.
Well, again, that was to create this fear, but do you know all those studies were done with an artificial beta-carotene? Again, synthetics as opposed to natural sources.
Yeah.
Same thing with the vitamin E and heart disease. Probably one of the most powerful vitamins you can use to protect your arteries and your heart and lower inflammation. But again, you've got to get a complete family. There's eight factions to the vitamin E. There's the tocotrienols and the tocopherols, delta, beta, gamma, all of them. Mm-hmm. So you've got to get one that has all of them. Well, all the studies were done with something called D-alpha tocopherol. DL. If you see real small print, the DL indicates that it's the synthetic form of vitamin E. And it scared everybody, and people abandoned taking vitamin E for heart disease. It's one of the things I try and make sure people get.
Yeah, and if you want a complete source of vitamin E, you have to get it from animal food, basically.
I mean, nuts are actually high, but then we look at all the other drawbacks. So, again...
Yeah, you have to balance it out.
Right.
Yeah, and I think, when people say about paleo diet or primal diet, and they say, I can eat nuts, just go easy on the nuts. And I like buying, sprouted almonds. Mm-hmm. They're already sprouted.
They've already soaked them. And if you see sprouted, that means that the foods have the phytic acid situation has been dealt with.
Yes.
So it's worth the extra
because
money.
It's becoming a plant.
Mm-hmm.
So
so you get all that nutrition.
That's a good way to eat your seeds is let them sprout.
Exactly.
You see that little leaf coming out, all of a sudden it becomes a plant. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting things. One of the other things in here that I should mention, and this is important, because exercise, I think, when you start doing exercises without equipment, you can do them on your own. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of our exercises in here, like tricep dips and the Superman and reverse crunches and push-ups and burpees and wall sits that are so easy to do. You can do them at your home. They don't take long to do it. You don't have to spend hours slaving over it. And then I have a great video here on page 19 of this gal going through all these types of different workouts that you can just use.
That's a great video, too.
It is a great video.
You guys are sitting there trading, push back, turn on that video, and...
Yeah, and another thing you can do, too, is, raise your desk up and stand. And there's plenty of treadmills out in the market now that you can take a nice slow walk, and you could be 3 hours on the treadmill while you're trading.
Right.
And, moving slow at a slow pace is what our body was made to do. We're locomotion fiends here, the human body. And, we need to get out of our cars, get off our bikes, and start walking. It's good for us.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think it's hard to just get people the idea they need to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Not overdo it.
No, you don't have to sit on a treadmill and go like crazy, that's for sure. 877-927-6648, and please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. Only $10 a month, and you're hooked in. So we'll see you right after the break, folks.
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome to our last segment, folks. This is Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and I kind of wanted to end the whole session with just some of the things that are that we're kind of up against in the mainstream media, and
misinformation.
Misinformation. Everybody's getting educated a little different way, but some of the biggest controversies in food that we have to talk about. And one of the things is that eggs are unhealthy, especially the yellow yolk, and we hear this all the time. People are selling egg whites, which is just the protein. Mm-hmm. And it's a big misnomer. It's the type of eggs that you get.
And the type of protein in egg whites is actually very difficult to break down, especially for these people that are putting it in their shakes and not cooking it.
Right.
You know, if you're going to eat a white, it should be cooked. If you're going to eat a yolk, it should be raw.
Right, and the combination of the two actually complement each other for digestion purposes.
We love the egg. It's been vindicated.
It definitely has.
Superfood.
Definitely. Saturated fat is bad for you. That's really what everybody's saying with heart disease. And, of course, we talked about the Surgeon General that retired and said, hey, it's not true.
I constantly read these articles that I want to forward on, and they'll have like 90% of stuff I agree with, and then they'll say, and of course, stay away from all the saturated fats. And then it's like I have to scrap it or something.
And the other one is that everybody should be eating grains, especially whole grains. It's good for us. And
that's a marketing word, whole grains.
Yeah, whole grains. It's a bunch of crap.
We just talked all about that.
Yeah, so we don't need to go in that. Eating a lot of protein is bad for your bones and your kidneys. Another thing
that was really pushed with the China study.
Yes.
That we would do best if we ate 10. All you got to do is look at someone who follows that diet,
and you can pretty much look in their eyes and see that they're not well.
Mm-hmm.
Low-fat foods are good for you. Of course, we discuss this a lot. I believe that my fat intake is probably 60% of my diet. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, I'm a healthy guy.
Well, the no-fat led to the increase in obesity. There's a direct correlation. If you look on it graphically, when we introduced these no-fat, low-fat foods, then we got fatter. So low-fat foods are highly processed products, and they use artificial sugars and sweeteners to make up their lack of satiety that you're getting from not having the fat.
And then you put lots of salt and lots of sugar in there, and the salt is not good for you, not that kind of salt that they're using.
Right, the table toxic man-made salt.
One of the things that we hear a lot is you should eat many small meals throughout the day, and I'll tell you, I tried that whole thing, and if you're a sugar burner, this probably works for you because you're going to be hungry at so many stages of the day. I normally eat 2 good meals, and I might have a snack.
Well, it's tough. This is a tough thing. I told you I have some struggle with this because those people, they're dealing with blood sugar issues, but that just goes to show what came first, chicken or the egg, or the blood sugar regulation or the eating. And eating frequently kind of keeps your whole sugar and your insulin level at a higher level, where if you get the whole sine wave, you're coming down. So, but
I think if you're eating a proper nutritional meal with protein and fat and some greens, then you're not going to be hungry, and you won't even think about eating until you do, later on in the day, maybe 8 or 10 hours later or 6 hours later.
So kind of bottom line on that, there's no evidence that eating many small meals throughout the day is better than fewer, bigger meals.
And this is pretty much, people who promote this are especially in workouts, some of the fitness industry. Carbs should be your biggest source of calories. Let me
We don't agree with that.
No, we don't agree because there's 3 nutrients, the protein, the fat, and the carbs. 2 of these are essential.
The fats and the proteins are essential. The carbohydrates are not.
Are not.
We can actually.
That's science, folks.
This is science. We can manufacture carbohydrates and sugars from our protein. I think 50% of our protein and 10% of our fats. Yeah. The low-fat, high-carb diet is a miserable failure and has been preventing us from repeatedly using.
Another myth is that high omega-6 seed and vegetable oils are good for you. We'll discuss that. That's the trans fat stuff. The natural ones are the ones you want. And sugar is unhealthy because it contains empty calories. Well, a little bit of sugar isn't that bad for you. Just like high-fat foods will make you fat, not
Again,
true
these
at all.
Processed sugars are what we're
dealing with. The processed sugars are the bad. Natural sugars are good for you. That's the show, folks, and we had a good time here. We'll be back next week. I think we might even have a guest next week. I have to confirm that, but we got some interesting things coming up. So this is
Everyone
Paige
have a great
and
week.
Nico. Yeah, keep your eyes wide open, folks.
Stay healthy.